It's a movie that helped inspire huge video game franchises, one of the great chase scenes, car chase scenes ever in film. This is the second Mad Max movie, The Road Warrior. Let me tell you why I actually think this movie is great. A little schlocky, a little punky, but great, coming up next. I think The Road Warrior must be one of my favorite movies. I've never thought of that as such, except maybe when I was a kid. It was on TV a lot and I saw it a lot. But over the years, I've probably seen it maybe once every 4 or 5 years. I really like the desert, the outback. I love the world of the movie, post-apocalyptia. I love the Fallout game series. And I'm really attracted to some of the Joseph Campbell-like mythological stuff in the movie. So The Road Warrior, I just rewatched again. I really appreciate it. On top of all that stuff, I really love George Miller's action direction. Actually, is all of his direction. This movie is definitely inspired by Star Wars, both the first Star Wars, 1977, and The Empire Strikes Back. Well, both just came out 1 to 4 years before this movie. You can see a lot of echoes and I think reworkings of Star Wars in Mad Max 2. That doesn't make it great, but I think some things that make Star Wars great, the first 2 Star Wars movies, make this movie great as well. That includes the basic Joseph Campbell stuff, hero's journey, lone warrior, exile, wandering through the desert, and coming across a fortress city, which is basically a gas refinery that is kind of a mini city that's being attacked by a gang that rules the wasteland, kind of Empire-like, with a villain who rules over them, humongous, a masked man, and this character has, I assume, a dub voice. And this gang is terrorizing this fortress, so it's kind of like the rebels running from, trying to escape from the Empire, a la The Empire Strikes Back, which came out not just a few months before Mad Max 2. A little bit more about George Miller's action direction. It is manic sometimes. Every shot always makes sense in sequence. He knows silent movie directing very well. He could have been a great silent movie director, using no dialogue, no words. In fact, there is an 18 to 20 minute sequence in this movie where there really is no dialogue. That goes from the hour 13 minute mark to just about the end. That very famous long chase sequence in the movie. And there's only a few words in it, like come on or all right. There's only a few lines of dialogue. They're barely audible, in fact. And so the whole thing at the end, at the beginning, and parts of the middle are basically, they're silent movie scenes with obviously added sound effects and score. And so then Miller's camera work and the excitement of the demolition derby and chase stuff in the movie really propels it on. This is obviously a famous movie that is quoted endlessly in later movies, even spawning a critical darling from several years ago, which was Mad Max 4. Now, one thing that I think makes this movie great, but you'd have to apply the contrast principle to it, contrasting this movie with another one, is that this is a sequel that is light years better than the original. I mean, the first Mad Max movie was kind of a hit. You should watch it. I think it's okay, but this movie takes everything good in the original and does it again and then just enhances everything. For example, Mel Gibson's acting in this movie, he's finally a movie star presence. In the first movie, there's some raw hamminess to his acting, and I don't like the dubbing in that first movie. And there's some sentimentality and some ooey gooey stuff that kind of is removed from Mad Max 2. And Mad Max 2 has populated variety and diversity in the villains, in the good guys, in the outfits, in the different vehicles. There's a variety of different vehicles. Like, everything's amped up. Of course, they had a much larger budget for Mad Max 2. But Mel Gibson is really, really good in this movie. And some of the side actors, the smaller actors in this are good, including the feral kid.
2 days ago, I saw a vehicle that had hauled that tanker. You want to get out of here? You talk to me.
The music is better in this as well, the orchestral music. In the first movie, it is over the top, it's in your face, it's too emotive. And it's the same composer who did the original Mad Max. And this one here, he's kind of copying a little bit, and I think in good ways, John Williams. There's a composer named Brian May, and not the guy who's the guitarist of Queen, but an Australian composer. I find the music, just watch these 2 movies, do it back to back, and The Road Warrior just leaps out as a manic action movie with a whole vision, a visionary world that is sumptuous. The movie is kind of based on the energy crises of the 1970s, the threat of lack of gas or oil, and other sorts of things. It is pointing out that the foundation of human civilization, higher civilization, advanced civilization, is the energy we have and the price we pay for it. And so actually there's it's like a bare bones city here. The city is a gas refinery in this movie, and they're trying to preserve and keep their gas and get out of the hands of bad guys who are just going to consume it for their own nefarious purposes, but not produce it. You have to realize that this movie is in a scavenger world, which always is bad, because what are scavengers doing? Just finding the scraps and the heaps and the good stuff among the junk, but they're not producing anything, generating anything, being fruitful and multiplying, as Genesis 1 would have it. And so that's kind of disturbing. It's kind of a dark age world, of course, after a Cold War nuclear apocalypse told in the movie's opening montage. So this idea of gas as commodity is propelling the whole thing, and Max needs the commodity for himself to just keep roaming. And there's this sort of existential question for Max: are you going to join a group, a tribe, a community, have more of a normal family lifestyle, friend lifestyle, or are you going to be a loner, isolated individual? Typical existential questions in this movie coming out of Joseph Campbell hero myth stuff, which again George Lucas semi-popularized with Star Wars. I love the shot making in this movie. Just take a look at these action scenes and you'll see Miller will zoom in or focus on particular things, then cut to wide shots. He loves wipes and dissolves, which partly he probably got from Lucas's Star Wars, at least a little bit, at least the wipes. And even when the shots are sped up and they come right after another, and they're even kind of hard to detect, when you slow this movie down, analyze it shot for shot, every single shot makes sense, makes logical sense, it makes filmic sense in terms of where it's at in the film's geography. And you can learn a ton from George Miller, who, it's bizarre to think about this, was a medical doctor not long before he made the manic punk Mad Max movies. Like, what is in this guy's head to dream this up or to think about the movie world in this way? This movie is demolition derby. It's testosterone charge. It's about racing down highways, anarchy on the highways. It's emphasizing fears of anarchy, as the first Mad Max movie does, on highways, whatever in the heck that means, with the joys and thrills of anarchy on the highway. Sort of mixes fears and joy together. And you can even see this in some of the moments when the characters are happy that things are happening and then shocked that things are happening. Just as they are, so you should be, I think the movie is saying. Miller also makes good use of, story techniques. Max is a major character, but then the helicopter guy with the snake is a minor character, just as Max has a dog. This guy with the helicopter, his name I'm forgetting right now, has a snake. And they have two different vehicles that they're each going to use in the chase. Both are going to be, lumped in with the group. The guy with the snake is going to find a woman he's attracted to, and they're going to become less isolated loners in the desert. So this minor character is emphasizing Max's major character. It's really interesting in this movie where there are blank canvas shots, moments where there is only the character and then sort of a blank background, a black background as it were. These are moments when the character is kind of being asked by the movie and maybe by other characters in subtle ways, who are you? What choices are you going to make? This happens with Max pretty early in the movie when he's going to make a deal with the Fortress people to get their big rig and bring it back. But it also happens with the helicopter guy later on when he's looking at the girl he's interested in and there's sort of a blank canvas shot. So these are moments in the movie, I think Miller knows this, when the heroes are being asked to make strong ethical choices, and the blank canvas, that sort of black background without any color, without anything in it, is kind of indicating to us they could go any way. They are sort of a blank canvas to be written on as far as their morals, ethics, and character. Of course, this movie would spawn 2 sequels, both of which have been praised by various people, but Mad Max Fury Road very related to this movie in a lot of ways. And then, of course, things like the Fallout franchise, which I absolutely love. It does a pick up on everything in this movie. And so I think this movie is influential and will continue to be. And people will watch it just as they watch, say, Buster Keaton's The General for all its action scenes. And I have no doubt Miller kind of likes that sort of fare. Early silent comedies that are kind of action chase sequence based. So too, they will watch this movie for its excellent chase scenes. All that said, what do you think of Road Warrior, Mad Max 2? What do you think of the franchise? What do you like about this movie in particular? What action shots, what other things in this movie are fascinating to you? Let us know in the comments. Please subscribe to this channel for more great content. Have a great day.